So quite a while ago, I made a video called Wechnia Crashed My Game. It was a pile of shit, but if you watch it, you probably noticed that Sonic was there as well as this fucked up character. And this character actually has a pretty interesting backstory, but I'm gonna go after that in a little bit. First, I want to talk about Sonic, who was cut from the final game. And for whatever reason or another, actually no, fuck that, I don't know why he was cut from the game. They didn't explain it, I'm not even sure they have a reason. And you may notice how similar Mighty looks to Sonic. That's because Mighty was supposed to be Sonic. Now this is where shit gets good, as Sonic was replaced by Mighty. And that's kind of all you need to know to it. There's even a sprite palette and everything that shows how similar he looks to him. There's even a hack that restores Sonic sprites called Sonic and Chaotix. Fucking incredible. But Tails is also in the game, and he dates all the way back to the earliest known prototype, Sonic Crackers, which is an early fucked up beta where basically almost everything is broken and doesn't make any fucking sense at all. And this beta has Sonic and Tails as the main protagonist, but it's only 4 levels, and there's actually some 3 seconds which don't appear in the final game, and they have no collision, so there's no point of talking about them. So Sonic was replaced by Mighty, but what the fuck happened to Tails? And this is where Wechnia comes into play, because Wechnia, believe it or not, is actually Tails. There's a lot of proof to prove this, especially in one of the early betas for Knuckles Chaotix. You can play as this glitch fucked up character. He uses Knuckles' sprite with Mighty's palette, and he just kind of walks around, does the weirdest running pose I've ever seen, and just kind of fucks around. And if you play as this character yourself, you can actually fly in early betas, Tails style flying, which kind of proves that Tails is actually Wechnia. It's pretty interesting shit. So there's also some more sprites. One was Supersonic. This is a custom palette because the real Supersonic doesn't have a final palette. And then there's Tails in a plane. No idea what these would have been used for unless Supersonic was in the game, which probably would have made a lot of sense because this game was probably planned to be a lot different from how it ended up being. Like, maybe the core gameplay would have been the same, but maybe Supersonic would have had something to do and Sonic would have been the main protagonist and there wouldn't have been as much characters. And there's even some sprites in the game's files that show a face of Sonic and Tails for little icons that switch your characters, even more proving that they were supposed to be in this game. So with all this proof, we know that Sonic would have even been able to turn Super, and I'm not even sure what the Tails sprite is for. Maybe it's for a cutscene or something, being the fact that in the final fucking screens you only get to look at Sonic and Tails, which is pretty upsetting. And I think the worst thing about this entire thing that makes this game just terrible is they made Sonic's legs tan. They couldn't put Sonic anywhere in the game but the credits, and they still messed up. They had an entire development time to fix this shit, and they didn't fix this shit. I'm not even sure if they just care. I think they just said, you know what, fuck it, let's just put